Hey there. So it is the year 2026. And what I've been doing every year is starting off with Proverbs. I read through the entire book of Proverbs since January has 31 days. You can read straight through every day a different proverb. And I just thought I'd come on here and just kind of talk through Proverbs, what I think, and um, maybe it might trigger something with you, and maybe in the comments below you can tell me what you think Proverbs talks about. So we're going to start off with Proverbs 1. This chapter is pretty much just laying the groundwork for Proverbs and what the purpose of Proverbs is. So I'm just going to go through like the things that stand out to me the most, because I feel like wisdom is important. And the interesting thing is, like, the first 10 chapters of Proverbs were written to younger people. I mean, obviously older people like me can still get some insight from it. And everyone, anyone, doesn't matter what age, but it was specifically written to young people. To his son, Solomon says in verse 8, he said, "Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and don't reject your mother's teaching." So it was written to Solomon's son, but now we get to learn from the wisest man in the world, Solomon. So the wisest born man, because Jesus is the ultimate, right? But yeah, so I just want to make that important distinction. So yeah, let me just go through this and just talk about a few things that I saw that kind of stand out, or something that this can be taken for life, I guess. So verse 2, and I'm reading in the Christian Standard Bible, I like that version, so I just thought I'd read it in a different version this year. So yeah, so it kind of gives the purpose of Proverbs. Like verse 2 says, "The purpose of Proverbs for learning, wisdom, and discipline, for understanding insightful sayings." So that's what Proverbs are for: learning, wisdom, and discipline. So as we go through out the rest of the Proverbs, we should be learning wisdom from these Proverbs, and discipline. We should get discipline out of it. Then verse 3 talks about receiving prudent instruction in righteousness, justice, and integrity. So yeah, I'm sure everybody, well, not everyone, but most people want to be righteous, and I think most people have a sense of justice. Maybe not everybody has integrity, but we should, and these Proverbs will definitely show us that way. Then verse 4 tells us that it's also for teaching shrewdness to the inexperienced, knowledge and discretion to a young man. So, young man, woman, girl, all of us, we can get knowledge, and we can learn knowledge. And it's basically, yeah, I mean, if you're inexperienced, these things can help you. These Proverbs can really help you. Verse 5 talks about, here's one thing. It says, "A wise person listens and increases in learning. A discerning person will receive guidance." So if you're wise, you'll be wise to listen to these Proverbs, because they are really wisdom for our lives. It's not ironclad promises. Like, I'll be honest, like growing up as a new Christian, I was thinking, oh, if I do this, then I'll get that. Well, not exactly, but I mean, for the most part, these are true sayings, not 100%, but these are true sayings, and definitely, obviously, has wisdom in them all. So when we listen to these Proverbs, we will increase in learning. And it's kind of funny how, I mean, I can tell you, I've been through Proverbs so many times, and I'll just look at a verse, and for some reason, I'm like, how didn't I see that before? Well, why is this new? But that's the Word of God. It's active and alive, and sometimes you just see things that you didn't see before, because sometimes, we just kind of read quickly. We don't read and slow down and try to really take it in, soak it in. So that's another challenge. I think that, I'm trying to let as many people know about. Let's try to soak in the Bible instead of just reading it really quickly, like it's some kind of check item on a checklist, you know. So, and then here it is. Here's number 7, verse 7. This is a famous one, but the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Okay, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. That's where knowledge first starts. The fear of the Lord. I mean, what do you think about that? The fear of the Lord, and often, from what I understand, means reverence, respect for God. We want to respect him enough to do everything he's told us to do. I mean, he's told us multiple times what to do. Just look at the moral law and the 10 Commandments. Look at what Jesus talked about in the Sermon on the Mount. Just really important stuff that we should be really, really heeding and taking in our lives. So here's another important thing. Verse 10 gives a warning for having bad company. It says, if sinners entice you, don't be persuaded. And then the results are, it says, don't travel that road with them or set on their path, because, you know, they're hungry to do wrong. Yeah, I mean, oftentimes we come across people who they want to get into some trouble, right? And Proverbs is telling us, don't let those sinners, I mean, we're all sinners, right? But don't let these specific people who are very obvious in what they're doing, they're not trying to do any different. They're not struggling within themselves to do any different, you know, to do good. So those are the people we have to really watch out for. And it also speaks of them as violent people in verse 11. It says, let's attack some innocent person just for fun. I mean, you see that a lot, honestly. I see it in the news, hearing people like they beat up homeless people sometimes. They just attack random people. This is not good, right? So don't go along with those kind of people. And a lot of times they're very obvious. And then it speaks about in verse 19, it says, because these people are also talking about getting money. they're finding valuable property in verse 13, and they're going to fill their homes with all that they've gotten from these attacks. So in verse 19, it says, basically, yeah, this honest profit is a negative. It's going to take from your life, and that's an important lesson to learn, that, you know, dishonest profit, it can go just as quickly as it came. It can go just like that. So, so verse 23 talks about wisdom's warning. Wisdom is spoken about like it's a woman, and it says it calls it she and her. So in verse 23, wisdom says, if you respond to my warning, then I will pour out my spirit on you and teach you my words. So respond to the warning of wisdom. Listen to wisdom. Wisdom is trying to teach us something. Jesus is the ultimate wisdom. He is ultimate wisdom. He's trying to teach us something. Let's listen to him, because if we don't, and we don't respond to that warning, in verse 28 it talks about, then they will call on me, but I won't answer. They will search for me, but won't find me. So by the time you get into a situation, it might be too late. And if you call on wisdom too late, you don't know it. You won't be able to find. Not only will you not be able to find it, you won't even know it. So that's a problem in itself. So, and then it talks about in verse 29, it says they hated knowledge. So some people just hate knowledge. I mean, they really do. I mean, I've seen some people. I mean, we have to, when we love knowledge, I mean, that's better for ourselves, right? We have to be, and then not only talks about that, but it says they hated knowledge and don't fear God. So that's an important addition to that. So you not want to learn maybe, but then you don't fear God. That's a really dangerous combination. To hate knowledge and not fear God, that's tough. But it ends in verse 33 talking about whoever listens to me, wisdom, will be live securely and undisturbed by the dread of danger. So I can't tell you how often anxiety, I mean, I'll be honest, like anxiety gets to me sometimes, but wisdom, when you have wisdom, you will live more securely than if you didn't have it. So let's get wisdom. And that was Proverbs 1. What do you think about Proverbs 1? What really stood out to you? What is the most important lesson? For me, yeah, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fear God, respect God, you know, have reverence for him enough to try to remember everything he told us to do and then do it. Just like Jesus said, build your house on the rock, not on sinking sand. He said, do everything, you know, I told you to do, and then you'll be called my friend. So just thinking, just thinking about, you know, everything there. So what do you think about Proverbs 1? So make a comment below. Thanks.